Good morning, folks. Welcome back. It's John Pettipas making a second record this morning. It's now 17 minutes before 11 o'clock in the morning. 12 noon. 11 o'clock Eastern USA. In Atlantic, it is 17 minutes now before 12 noon. Monday, the 18th day of October. And I have my war on, my beautiful, blessed Republican red. I'm on the warpath this morning. I'm going to speak my mind, as I pretty well always do anyway. The saintly Ronald Reagan. I have his biography as a gift to me, the Reagan Diaries. One of my great heroes. The saintly Ronald Reagan. He's a fantastic man. One right up with President Trump and George Washington, Theodore Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln. One of our finest. Arguably, up until President Trump, he's probably the finest president we've ever had. President Ronald Reagan. Fantastic gentleman. Now, the saintly Ronald Reagan said, I just watched a video somebody sent me this morning. Right side broadcast out of Mississippi, and they're fantastic people. There's people protesting out for their rights and freedoms in front of Southwest Airlines in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. And the saintly President Reagan said, and he quoted the guy, we are just always just one generation away from losing our freedom. Our freedom always has to be fought for and defended. That's why I changed my white shirt and tie to Republican red. This is, Bill Gillis, our late MLA here, like Congressman in America, MLA, member of the legislature, somebody said, John, you tell us all, democracy is a very delicate thing. And freedom is a very delicate thing. They go hand in hand. Freedom and democracy. And what's going on right now? Forcing people to be vaccinated and lose their jobs. And infringing on people's rights. There was a clip that somebody sent me a little while back. And the clip went like this here. It showed that the blessed Jewish people, elderly man and his wife, and they'd been just horribly, horribly treated by the Nazis. In fact, not only treated, millions died in the concentration camps. Anyway, they said, why didn't you fight? Why didn't you fight as they started to do these things? Why didn't you fight? And they said, well, it was one thing. First, the yellow stars we had to wear. Then they tattooed us. Then it was this we had to be put in the ghetto. And one thing led to another. And it's like at the gospel meeting. The gospel preacher would point out that if you put a frog in a pot of water, cold water, it'll stay in there and cook to death, I'm told. Okay, but if you put a frog into a hot pot of water, it'll jump out. So it's the same thing. It's the gradual. The gospel preacher was making the analogy with the frog in the water, like sin. A little bit of sin, a little bit more sin, a little more sin, and how it separates us from God and brings us down to devil and hell. So they take and the same here thing with freedom. It's a gradual erosion. First, you can't go to church unless you're spaced out. Then you can't go to a restaurant or a theater unless you have a little ID card. What's that remind you of? Okay, you must have an ID card to go this way, get in a train, a plane, and so on. It's a gradual erosion of freedom. And they take and it just builds up. And this is what you're seeing in Nova Scotia. You're seeing it in Canada. You're seeing it in the United States. But in the United States, we push back. Enough of this damn bullshit. And they go out and they protest. Okay? And they stand up. They stand up for rights and freedoms. So when the saintly Ronald Reagan made his famous speech back in 1964, he said that we're only one generation. We're always just one generation away from losing our freedom. You can look at it think of it. Think of in Britain. What did Churchill say? Our finest hour. People say 1,000 years from now. He told the people, we shall fight on the beaches, we'll fight in the fields, we'll fight in the streets, we'll fight in the hills. We shall never surrender. And he was the odd man out. Oh, Neville Chamberlain and all these ones, they didn't want to hear this guy. They called him, as they called my saintly Ronald Reagan, a warmonger. Well, he stood up to the evil empire of the Soviet Union, as did 40, 50 years prior to that. They take 40 years prior to that. You had Churchill stand up to Adolf Hitler. Chamberlain want to make peace. And you're seeing this right now in communist China with Sleepy Joe. Yeah, Sleepy Joe. He won't stand up to anything or anybody. And you have the communist Chinese, there's a bunch of Communist Party of China making sorties repeatedly, infringing upon sovereign airspace of real China, free China, Taiwan, flying sortie after sortie after sortie of provocation, and Biden will do nothing. He's just a down-earth puppet put in there, but his days are numbered. Here we are on Monday morning, the 18th day of October, and now in another just over 54 weeks from now, we will be in the 1st of November. 2 weeks from today is November 1st, and 1 year from then, on the beautiful first Tuesday, it'll be Tuesday, days move ahead by a day, every week, every year, so days a week following year. So on the Tuesday, the 1st of November, it's bye-bye! Sleepy Joe is first, controlling the U.S. Senate, House of Representatives, and forward to a stronger America again. And we'll get back to presidency in 2024. So I just make this point. I make this point very sincerely. I plagiarized the words of the saintly Ronald Reagan. We are all, always, anybody in Western world democracy, we're just one generation away from losing our freedom. And that's a fact. So we gotta stand up to this tyranny. Vaccine, mask mandate, this, that, can't do that, what size you can go in, how many can be in a restaurant. All BS. With that, I got to go. It's now about 9 minutes before 12 noon. This is my brief, by my standards, video on freedom. Hear this song? I won't forget the men that died that gave the right for me. Stand up and defend her still today. God bless. God bless the USA and everybody, Nova Scotians, Canadians, Europe, Britain, Australia, stand up to this tyranny being put on us. And with that, I wish you all the best. God bless. Until next time, this is John Pettipas. Press the subscribe button, share the video far and wide, and please, in the name of God and the soldiers that put their lives in line, and in many cases gave their lives, defend the freedom! Defend the freedom! Have the guts, have the backbone, have the internal fortitude to stand up for your freedom. Stand up to Nancy Pelosi. Stand up to Chuck Schumer. Stand up to Sleepy Joe. Stand up to Kamala, Adam Schiff, Justin Trudeau, this here terrible Timothy you have in Nova Scotia. Stand up for your rights and freedoms. And God bless the USA, and God bless each and every one of you wonderful subscribers. Thank you very much. Bye for now.